The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Wrestling to the Max, Smackdown, Review.
And we are live to tape for the Wrestling to the Max Smackdown Live review here on the W2M Network. I
had to pause there to remember what show we're recording.
Man, when we're doing 3 in one night, you got no room to talk, Brandon.
I know.
Jeez. That's the Darth to my Skywalker, Brandon Biskobing. Harry Broadhurst.
So, I'm your father?
Aren't you also dead and come to the newest movies?
True.
Spoiler alert.
If
Whatever.
People don't know that since that movie came out in the 80s, that's long past spoiler level.
Well, guess what? I don't watch, I don't care. Anywho, this is the Smackdown Live review as we are live to tape on the W2M Network, available online at W2Mnet.com. In addition, you can find this podcast and, well, the other 6,212 we're recording tonight and tomorrow on the various podcast listening places, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Stitcher, Podbean, Castbox. Hey, Brandon?
Yes?
You know what I'm hearing?
Something's coming.
Glacier.
No, that would be Spotify.
Spotify is coming. I think we've officially found the commercial that we're going to do from here going forward until
Yes.
we're actually on Spotify.
Yep.
Because I feel like that works.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there you go. Enjoy it, folks. You're going to hear a lot of it. Until somebody gets off their backside and gets us on Spotify.
Or tells us it's not happening, one or the other, whichever one comes first.
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, que sera, sera. I promise, I'm only drinking cherry Pepsi tonight. Anywho. So what do you say we get to SmackDown for July 3rd, 2018?
Let's do it.
Our best wishes are with the co-hostess, Miss Liz Puglisi. She is unable to join us this week. Hopefully she will be back with us next. Well, you on Monday, me on Tuesday.
Yes.
Because I'm not doing Raw in two places again. No.
Well, you didn't do Raw for Chair Shot this week anyway.
I didn't do either for, I didn't do Raw Live for either company, honestly.
Yes.
Not Chair Shot, not for here.
Oh, I know.
But in fairness, my happy backside was up at Waldemere Water Park until like 9:30 at night yesterday, too. So, well, I guess technically Monday, because we were recording this at 12:30 a.m. on Wednesday. So happy 4th of July, everybody.
Yes.
America. America.
And I'm doing the most, like, how do I put this? I'm doing probably the most un-4th of July type of food you could possibly imagine tomorrow for dinner.
You and Tori are getting Chinese, aren't you?
It's close.
Sushi?
Yes.
Racist. SmackDown, July 3rd, 2018 starts now. All right, we open up the show with the first time in 5 years, if you don't count last week, of Team Hell No, as Daniel Bryan and Kane are dead center of the ring, talking with Renee Young. They proceed to bicker a little bit, because that's kind of what Team Hell No does.
Hey, you called it that they didn't forget about 2014.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of appreciative of the fact that we kind of did get a little lesson in continuity here. As Kane tried to shovel it under the bed, and Daniel Bryan pointed out, You harassed my wife. You tombstoned me on ring steps, announce tables, and floors. And I put you through a flame. He didn't mention the flaming table, but that would have been cool.
Well, but that's because he was the one who did it, so he was trying to call Kane out. He can't be incriminating himself now.
That would be a very un-babyface-like thing for him to do.
Precisely. Mea
culpa, homie. Mea culpa. Anywho. Speaking of homies, the Usos in a... Wow, that got dark. I apologize if I offended anybody there, because I didn't think that went all the way through.
Well done.
The Usos interrupt and proceed to have issues with the fact that Kane and Bryan can just reunite some 5 years later and automatically be construed as the number one contenders to the tag team titles. Okay, this is a valid point for the Usos, and I'm glad that somebody in the SmackDown tag team has brought it up.
This is WWE we're talking about. This is the company that has made tag teams and just thrown them into title pictures haphazardly.
But at the same time, though, it was at least nice to see a steady tag team such as the Usos come out and call them on their ish.
Oh, I agree on that.
Their day one-ish, as it were. Jimmy proceeds to get off a really funny line of, "Hug me, bro. Now hug me 3 more times. Hey, look at that. We just earned 4 tag team title shots." That popped me. I'm not going to lie.
It did.
Kane says that they will consider what the Usos had to say and get back to them. Paige proceeds to interrupt us. And our main event for the evening is a Teddy-Long special tag match.
Play
it. No, you're good. You got it in right after I finished. As the Usos will take on Daniel Bryan and Kane with the added stipulation that if the Usos win, they're added to the Extreme Rules title match to make it a triple threat, which Liz will love. And if then they have to go one-on-one with The Undertaker. It is a Teddy Long special, after all. Jeff Hardy, in wrong face paint, proceeds to cut a promo backstage. Corey proceeds to call him out on this during the course of the match. We'll talk about that in a second.
Real quick before we go away from the opening segment.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to get your thoughts on that. My bad. Go ahead.
Well, first off, I like the segment a lot. And like we talked about last week, I did like how they did not just gloss over the fact that Kane was part of the Authority and everything and, tried to basically murder Daniel back in 2014. It would have been nice to at least seen him, attempt to rationalize it, even if they went with the whole split personality thing that they seemed to be going towards at that time. It would have been nice to have seen some sort of thing there, but so be it. Quick question, and we'll talk about it more. I think someone mentioned it, maybe Tom did. But I forget exactly who. But did they ever face off back in 2013?
Phillips said no. I do believe he said that their paths never crossed right during the early portions of the match.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So
there was kind of a by proxy brand split back then.
That's true.
And Bryan and Kane were more on Raw, whereas the Usos were more on SmackDown.
That's true. That was right before Raw 1000, where the brands basically meshed.
Not to mention, let's also remember that back in those times as well, the Usos weren't exactly a factor in anything tag team related.
No, not at all. Not at all.
They were there, but they were just kind of
They were lower mid-card / jobbers, pretty much.
Right, they were there as a team for people to get a win over in order to build them up.
Yes. But yeah,
Jeff Hardy promo. Anything?
It was basically what he did a couple of weeks ago. So it's cool. It's Jeff Hardy. He does things like that. I kind of liked how his eyes switched when he blinked.
Other way around. The face paint was over the eyelids. The white was the actual eyes open.
Oh, that's what I meant. Yeah, the face paint switched or something somehow.
Asuka backstage cuts a promo telling it doesn't matter who she faces, man or woman, they feel the pain, and that Ellsworth isn't ready for Asuka. I'm not sure I'm ready for this match.
No one is.
And our opening contest, scheduled for one fall.
One fall.
It's for the WWE United States Championship as an open challenge match. Sees Jeff Hardy defend against The Miz. I had to pause for emphasis.
Yes.
They proceed to go 16 and a half minutes with commercial, about 13 of which aired. Jeff Hardy picks up the win after the referee catches Miz trying to use the ropes on a pinfall. He proceeds to turn into a twist of fate and then a swanton bomb. Jeff's crazy way of hitting the twist of fate aside. The swanton bomb spells curtains for Miz at 16 and a half minutes. Good match, reasonably well paced. They are familiar with each other. They have faced off before. That being said, I do think that the Money in the Bank qualifying match that they had a couple of months ago was better than this U.S. title.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It was kind of cool, we've seen it more so in the indies with a certain villainous one lately, having the ref catching him trying to, be on the ropes. But it's kind of cool seeing WWE refs actually being competent and seeing that common heel shenanigan.
Hey, let's not throw around crazy words like competent here, Brandon.
I'm giving them a tiny bit of credit.
All right. James Ellsworth proceeds to have a promo talking about the match with Asuka, proclaiming the superiority of men, filling the Bobby Riggs role in the match with Billie Jean King. Yeah, we all know how well that worked out for Bobby, James. And didn't we already do this storyline with Ellsworth before with Becky Lynch?
Yeah, but technically we never actually saw it. We never actually saw it on TV.
And wait, it gets better because of what happens when the match goes down. I'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
Pancake eating contest. I refuse. Brandon, by all means, go ahead. I refuse.
Well, did you even watch it?
I did, but at the same time, when it comes to these shows here, I am boycotting all things New Day bullshit.
But it never happened. So you got your wish.
It started.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did. There was a counter and a timer and everything. Big E was in the lead with 4 when the lights went out. But
I didn't see them start.
Then you clearly weren't paying as much attention as I was.
Unless my TV thing froze and cut back to when Sanity came out, but I didn't see them start at all. I thought as soon as they rang...
Did.
What?
They most certainly did.
Well, I thought as soon as the bell rang or whatever, when they said go, the lights went out.
No, there was probably a good solid 30 seconds, because as soon as they set the timer, as soon as Saxton said set the timer for 5 minutes, I'm like, there's no way in hell they're going to give this crap 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was right after that, I think Big E was double-fisted pancakes. Which, all right, I'll admit, you'd get a chuckle out of me because that's Big E. But, just, really? Why? What?
I mean,
pancakes!
Well, the purpose of this is to further... I mean, it's the 4th of July. So, they're going to do some sort of eating contest. And since they already did the hot dogs last year on the 4th, and New Day's big thing is pancakes now, it just makes sense. But it didn't fully happen. It only happened for a little bit, and then we get Sanity, which sets up, probably either, on Smackdown next week, or at Extreme Rules, we'll probably get a 6-man match.
See, this wouldn't surprise me as the pre-show match, and we kind of talked about that with the No Way Jose and Mojo Rawley thing on the Monday Night Raw review available in the archives here. This right here would strike me as a much more likely pre-show match here to get the crowd off to a hot start, to have a good match for the network, Facebook, YouTube, wherever else they post the pre-show and stuff, and to get people interested in possibly giving the show a chance here by having two teams of three people who can work their asses off, but just get rid of the fluff, get rid of the crap, and let them go out there and beat the crap out of each other. Like what we saw tonight here, where Killian Dane, Alexander Wolf, and Eric Young put in that work on the New Day.
Yeah, I could see that.
Xavier Woods gets put through the table by a top rope elbow drop, courtesy of Eric Young. And apparently Eric Young has learned nothing about elbow drops, because you do not do those through a table. That is a very quick way for a piece of table to rip your thigh completely off. Their double team neck breaker would have probably been a better spot for that table, just because I worry about how that table breaks and the way Young is landing. He's very unprotected in that landing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we see this stretched out to Extreme Rules, or do you think we get the payoff for this with a 6-man next week on SmackDown?
How many matches are already announced for Extreme Rules?
That is a question I would have to check Wikipedia to answer, so you're going to have to stall for time.
Okay. Well, if there aren't all that many matches, I mean, I think all of the title matches, well, minus the absentee one, but...
Screw him!
Yes. Besides that one, all of the titles are being defended. So that's...
8.
There's 8 matches in total right now?
8 announced as of tonight on SmackDown.
Okay, so normally, with pre-show, there's normally, 10 to 12 matches?
Usually around 10 to 12, yeah. I think, I want to say Money in the Bank was 11, so yeah, 10 to 12.
So, they could fit in a few more, so... I don't think they'll do Bayley Sasha yet. They're gonna drag that out to SummerSlam. We could potentially see Jose and Mojo as a pre-show match.
I want to state for the record that if that happens, I'm blaming you for having to sit through that.
Fair enough. We could see, we talked about it on Raw, we could see Corbin and Finn have a match, and then this one. So I could see, those 3 matches being added, which gets us up to 11. Because there really aren't any other feuds that haven't gotten a match on the card yet, currently.
Our next contest, scheduled for one fall.
One fall.
Is Asuka versus James Ellsworth.
Must we?
Just real quick here, because there were a couple of things. That slap that Asuka threw. That looks snug.
Oh, yes.
Ellsworth runs away, Asuka chases him, and it's a double count out. Because Billie Jean King versus Bobby Riggs ended in a double count. Oh, no, it didn't. Because Becky and James Ellsworth ended in a double count. Oh, wait, no, it didn't. Really? We're protecting James Ellsworth here? Well,
over Asuka?
We're protecting him till next week when they have a Lumberjill match. And it is Lumberjill because it's the women surrounding the ring, not the men. And
wait, I didn't fully hear that part. Is that going to be between James and Asuka? Or is that the stipulation for the Extreme Rules match?
No, that's the match between Ellsworth and Asuka next week on SmackDown.
Oh, okay. Well, that should hopefully be a squash, but we'll see. Because WWE loves to, make simple things complicated and loves destroying NXT people.
I will also point out as well that when we saw James Ellsworth ran off the first time, it was a Lumberjill match against Becky Lynch.
Oh, God.
3 months ago. That didn't happen. Yes. Yes, it did, writers. Yes, it did. Sorry, your dog made an appearance. Now my cat's trying. Give me 1 second here.
That's perfectly fine.
All right, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm at a loss for words, and yeah. Yes, I know on the tag team front it's gotten better, but Asuka, you didn't have any work that you had to do with her. Just keep her the way she is and keep her looking strong. But no, you're gonna bastardize her.
You can tell it's serious. Brandon's swearing.
It's getting ridiculous.
Anywho. A backstage segment with Daniel Bryan and Kane, and Daniel wants an apology for all of the various wrongs that Kane has committed going all the way back to 2012. Kane apologizes and tells Daniel that he loves him like a brother, to which Bryan responds, "You set your brother on fire," which was very funny.
That popped me.
Kane goes to question that statement, apparently forgetting The Undertaker is his brother for a few seconds, before stopping himself and apologizing once again and letting them know that when they are on the same page, they are unstoppable. Kane asks if they're on the same page. Bryan throws his apology sheets up into the air and yeses us to a commercial break. We officially add Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke Nakamura to Extreme Rules for the U.S. title. I do believe the police dog from San Diego is going to be the special guest referee. A confirmation of that. I'm a terrible person. Moving on. This is now the promo that AJ Styles built as he comes to the ring to talk about the upcoming title match against Rusev at Extreme Rules. Rusev and English interrupt him. Rusev says that AJ is facing a Rusev that he has never faced before, one that has promised that he is going to break down the doors of the house that AJ Styles built, kick him out of his castle, and take his WWE Championship. And he will do it on the greatest day of all. Do you know what day that is, Brandon?
You don't have Liz here to do it for you.
I don't. That's why you're filling in. Do you know what day that is, Brandon?
It's Rusev Day.
It's Rusev Day. And now we go to our next contest, scheduled for one fall.
One fall.
As non-title action sees AJ Styles taking on Aiden English. And it's a tapita like Mr. Bojangles on speed as AJ picks up the win over Aiden with the calf crusher at 4.5 minutes, about 2 of which was actually shown. Obviously, the storyline here is that Aiden's trying to soften up AJ for Rusev, but AJ's at a much higher level than Aiden is, and that's frankly okay with me because Aiden hasn't really been portrayed as anything much more than Rusev's lackey recently.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, post-match, Machka kicks AJ on the floor, sends him into the ring post, and proceeds to lock in the accolade standing tall over the WWE champion.
Yeah,
your thoughts?
It's interesting that they very quickly kind of did an about face on Rusev and Aiden, where, you know, when this match first got announced, when he won that number 1 contendership, and then AJ came out for the handshake and everything, and we had that moment there, you were thinking, oh, is this the moment that they may do a face turn for Aiden, and now suddenly they're kind of, or not Aiden, for Rusev rather, and now they've very quickly kind of done an about face. It could be either that they're not wanting to do it now, or that, you know, they realize that they kind of, you know, showed their cards a little bit too quickly, and now they're trying to backtrack so as not to make people think, oh, he's going to turn face at Extreme Rules.
Peyton Royce and Billy Kay have a promo in the traditional cell phone inset version that they seem to enjoy doing on WWE television these days. Peyton says that she's going to expose Becky for what she is, a has-been who can't get the job done when it counts. The aforementioned Carmella Ellsworth segment leading to the Lumberjill match airs here, so I stand by what I told you earlier. And then we go into our next match scheduled for one fall.
One fall.
As Becky Lynch takes on Peyton Royce. And for the 4th of July, there's not a whole lot of Americans in this match.
There's 0.
Well, maybe the referee.
Well, yeah.
There's no Americans at ringside either because Billie Kay is Australian as well. But what does happen is Becky Lynch picks up a submission victory in 3.5 minutes via the disarmer in order to continue a little bit of a winning streak here. My question to you is this. Since there are no women's tag team titles on the main roster, and since it seems bound and determined that these groups aren't going to stay together, how long do you think we see Billie and Peyton as an actual tag team? Because it doesn't feel like this is something that they can maintain the momentum of and allow them to both get over as single stars. It's going to have to happen one at the expense of the other, is it not?
Eventually, yes. But I think they're... And I could totally see Vince in his head and with how they act and just everything involved, him thinking this. I think he's going to use them as kind of Bella's 2.0. At least for the time being.
I mean, I could see that if you're going towards, like, the more heelish Bellas.
Yes.
The better than you Bellas, I guess you would call that in there.
I would compare them to either the Bellas or Lay Cool.
I think Lay Cool is a more apt comparison. But at the same time, though, that's where my thought process comes in line, because eventually they used Michelle to get Layla over.
True, which I think they're going to end up doing with one or the other. Not sure which way they're going right now. What I think they're kind of trying to do is test both of them to see, okay, who do we want to push more currently? And whoever they do, they're going to use the other to get them over.
Shinsuke Nakamura makes fun of Jeff Hardy and proceeds to bark at the end of his promo, which I thought was kind of funny. At least Shinsuke's able to roll with what happened to him. Our main event, scheduled for one fall, is the Teddy Long special. It is a tag match.
Playa.
As Team Hell No takes on the Usos. By the way, I'm being told that I can't say Balls Mahoney. Sorry. Had to get our ish in. Anywho. The Usos win. They are added to the tag team title match at Extreme Rules. Well, spoiler alert, that won't be a problem. As at the 12-minute and 40-second mark, about 10 of which was aired, a choke slam to Jay, along with a knee plus to Jimmy, puts down the Usos, and Team Hell No picks up their win in their televised match for the first time in 5 years. It stays Team Hell No versus the Bludgeon Brothers at Extreme Rules. Speaking of the Bludgeon Brothers, after the match, the Bludgeon Brothers come out and stare down Team Hell No. There is no physical altercation, though, before we go off the air. Your thoughts on the main event match, Brandon?
I mean, it was a very good match. Both teams are very good. It was nice seeing, excuse me. It was nice seeing, Team Hell No still having a lot of good team chemistry and everything, and them showing that they can still coexist and whatnot, and still, be a very good tag team. And the Usos are always good, recently as well. So, it was a solid match. I like that, they kept it Team Hell No versus, Bludgeon Brothers. Although doing the triple threat could have helped, if they wanted to do something like we talked about last week about if Team Hell No aren't going to get the tag titles, of kind of having the Usos there as a fall to allow the Bludgeon Brothers to retain while keeping Team Hell No strong.
See, real quick, I'm going to touch on that there. I don't think that it would have been wise to add the Usos to this match under any circumstance, though. And the reason that I say that is you're selling this tag team title match at Extreme Rules on the basis of nostalgia going back to the original run for Team Hell No. Having another team in this match here kind of defeats the purpose of having nostalgic attempt of Team Hell No going after the tag team titles for the first time in 5 years.
True. Very true. Very true. That's a very good point. So, I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to this match. It'll be interesting to see what they do with it. I kind of hope that they, like, I know we talked about it last week, and you're probably right. They probably wouldn't want to, give them the title so quickly, if at all. This is kind of just giving Bryan something to do and giving us a nostalgia feel for Bryan before he goes on a singles run. But if they do choose to give him the titles, I hope they kind of do something funny. Like, I could just see them doing, either right after they win the match, either right after the match or on Smackdown the next week, the Fallout show, them doing their normal that they did back in the day of, I'm the tag team champion, no, I'm the tag team champion, and then they both just looking at each other and saying, we're the tag team champions.
This assumes that they end up taking the titles off of the Bludgeon Brothers.
Oh, no, I know that, but I'm just saying, if they did that, I would love to see them do that.
I'm not sure that that's a foregone conclusion at this point now, because this is the first tag team title reign on the main roster for Harper and Rowan, and the fact of the matter is that recently with the matches that they've been having, especially the ones that they had against the Club and then the ones that they had before that with the Usos, it's been some of the better matches of Harper and Rowan's careers.
I thought they held the titles as part of the Wyatt family.
They never did, despite me predicting them to win them at every pay-per-view they had an opportunity to. That one still chaps my cheeks. My
the whole Wyatt family, Bray Wyatt included, still hurts because they came in looking so strong, and now they're each one of them are starting to get better and are getting that momentum and that respect back, but they're still kind of jokes, each and every one of them, especially Bray.
What could have been compared to what is.
Exactly.
Understandable. And that's an official wrap for this week's episode of SmackDown Live here, Brandon. Scale of 1 to 10, where do you fall?
I'll give it a 7. There were some good moments. The tag team match was a good one. Both of those teams could put in some work. The Jeff versus Miz match, while they can definitely do better, it wasn't a bad match. But some of this stuff fell kind of short, like nothing could have saved the Asuka Ellsworth thing, unless you had Asuka completely squash him. And the Peyton Royce versus Becky match, it's nice to see Becky get some momentum. And am I missing anything?
That's up to you.
I'm trying to think if there were any other matches or segments. The New Day and Sanity thing, at least it wasn't that long, and we get Sanity and hopefully get New Day. Hopefully we get a few between those two, which they should be able to do some good stuff.
I'm going to give this show a 7 as well, but when you consider the fact that you gave Raw a 6 and I gave Raw a 4, that's kind of a more telling aspect from my perspective. I still can't believe you thought that Raw was even close to SmackDown in terms of this week's show, because frankly, to me, it wasn't.
That was a very generous 6.
Yeah, my 4 was generous too.
I was looking at mostly like the match quality for the non-main event matches.
Just the way we went off of the air on Raw left such a bad taste in my mouth. Whereas on SmackDown here, you got the visual of Team Hell No winning their first tag team match together in 5 years, and then them staring down the team that they're going to be facing for the tag team titles at the pay-per-view on the 15th. I think it works out a lot better here.
Oh, definitely.
Something like this leaves you anticipating what's going to happen next rather than dreading what's going to happen next, like what happened on Monday Night Raw.
Mm-hmm.
One-word review, Brandon.
I'll say progression. You know, a lot of the feuds that are going on either, you know, got something added to them or, you know, did something. And you know, one feud got started in New Day and Insanity.
I'm going to go with a rebound. And I'm going to say that after a very lackluster episode of Monday Night Raw, they were able to use SmackDown to kind of get us back on track going towards the Extreme Rules pay-per-view and have us setting up with some matches that people are going to be interested in seeing. I think the crowd reaction to AJ and Rusev is going to be a lot more mixed than maybe the WWE even thinks it's going to be.
Well, we kind of already got that tonight.
I was going to say, because you'll notice tonight how split that crowd was during the match that before the match when AJ was cutting his promo, how half the crowd was chanting for AJ and probably I'd say at least a fourth of the crowd was chanting for Rusev Day.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that match is going to be a lot more evenly contested among the fan base, and in turn it's going to provide a lot more incentive for the wrestlers to go out there and perform to the best of their abilities. In addition, you have the Team Hell No situation over on SmackDown, which has people excited for the nostalgia region of it. Shinsuke and Jeff Hardy, while a ridiculous idea on the surface of it, should actually be a very entertaining match. And heel douche Shinsuke Nakamura with the U.S. title could be gold for SmackDown going forward.
Oh, God. See, I'm... There's one thing I'm worried about with that, and you just made me think about it.
I know the whole better than you because I'm the United States champion thing. I'm aware of what...
No. I know he hasn't used it at all in his heel run yet. But foreign heel plus U.S. championship plus Vince McMahon. You do the math.
Rusev?
Yes, Rusev.
I mean, it is what it is.
But it's just going to be your basic foreign, you know, I'm not American and I'm holding your title type of thing, I feel. Like, it's not going to be original.
I don't know about that. I think that there's more options with Shinsuke as the U.S. champion than there were with Rusev, though, because Rusev was such a one-note character at the time, whereas Shinsuke's got a more developed character.
True, I'll give you that, but I feel like they're going to go into that one-note character if he gets the U.S. title. But we'll see. I could be wrong.
And it would give me the opportunity to go, Kinshasa!
Yes.
On a more regular basis. I think that's about it for us, Brandon. Ready to get some plugs in here?
Sure.
All right, so Monday nights, you got something. What is it?
Yeah, Monday nights, the Raw review with myself and normally Liz Puglisi, but tonight, tonight for Monday was with Harry and myself. And yeah, there you go.
Tuesday nights, besides SmackDown, you have another review to talk about.
That would be 205 Live.
Coming up soon to many of these same affiliates that were previously mentioned, except for Spotify. Get on the ball, Spotify! Thursdays, you do a review as well.
Yes, NXT review with you as well.
Not for much longer. As soon as Gary comes back, he's taking that over.
Oh, yes. I know this.
This whole 5 reviews a week thing is kicking my ass.
Yes. 5? What's your 5th?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because coming soon to the W2M network, I am up to January 10th, 1995. That is an episode of ECW on, I forget what the channel was called back then, Sports Vision or something like that. I forget what it was called in Philadelphia at the time, but they just debuted on MSG Network with it for ECW Hardcore Television on Sports Vision, Spectrum Vision, whatever the hell they called it back then. Sportsnet, maybe? Whatever.
Maybe. I think it was Sportsnet.
Whatever. So I sit just a shade over 6 months away from the debut of How the War Was Won. Myself and Brandon Biskobing taking a look back from 1995 all the way up until 2001 for the WWF WCW Monday Night War. We will be covering the episodes of Raw, Nitro, and the pay-per-views from that time span, and I'm sure we'll probably touch on Nitro and Thunder as well, if not necessarily cover them.
You mean Smackdown and Thunder?
Yes, Smackdown and Thunder. Thank you. That's what happens when I talk too fast. My brain goes fast. My mouth goes faster than my brain allows. Anyways, so that'll be coming soon to the W2M Network. In addition, returning soon to the W2M Network, August, as a matter of fact, will be the kickoff. Myself, Brandon Biskobing, Eric Watkins, Jason Teasley, as we present our Pardon the Interruption, and we interrupt each other constantly, take on the world of both college and the NFL. It starts with our college football prediction special on August 9th, 2018. That will be the kickoff here on the W2M Network. You have something football-related to talk about as well, and then we'll get out of here.
Yep. Yeah, and starting back up, we did our previews and our mock draft. Starting back up in end of August, we'll probably do a little bit of a preview again for the season, is Fantasy Football to the Max, talking about all things fantasy football, getting you ready for your draft, and getting you ready for the season, and then, going through a week by week of best players and who's the booms and busts and, who's your sleepers and all of that good stuff in the world of fantasy football.
In addition, you can also check out our 2-round mock rookie draft available in the archives here on the W2M Network.
Yes.
He's Brandon Biskobing. I'm Harry Broadhurst. This has been the Smackdown Live review for the W2M Network, W2Mnet.com, in addition to all of the other listening places that I talked about earlier. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you guys next week for Smackdown Live with our predictions for Extreme Rules. And then the following week here on Smackdown Live, I will have a live reaction for you guys as I will be attending the July 15th pay-per-view in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He's Brandon. I'm Harry. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you guys next Tuesday.